This episode of Last Time On covers Shameless, Season 11, Episode 12, Father Frank Full of Grace, which is an episode that deals with some heavy topics such as heroin addiction, overdose, and death. If any of these topics make you uncomfortable, please feel free to just skip this episode, and we will see you next week. Thanks.
Hello and welcome to Last Time On. This is the podcast for people who want to watch all this prestige television, but who's got time for it?
You know I don't.
I don't have time either, my God, and because I actually just woke up on the couch with a needle in my arm, so I'm surprised.
Fucking yikes.
It's it's an insulin needle, like some diabetic.
Still yikes. That's probably
still yikes.
like a diabetic.
Yeah.
I usually wash them before I use them. It's fine.
Yeah.
Oh.
Usually.
Yeah. Oh wait. Yeah. Here's one on the floor right here. This will work.
I'm Xhafer.
I am concerned. And I am Ben.
And I'm joking. I'm Victor.
Hi concerned, hi joking, I'm Dad. And we're here today. We are gathered here today in memory of Shameless with Season 11, Episode 12.
Father Frank full of what is this episode
Grace?
called again? Is it Father Frank full of grace?
Yep.
Oh man,
The
This was-
finale of Shameless. We did it.
What a long road it's been. It's been a long road getting from there to here. Wow, feels like we've been doing this one longer than Stargate.
Oh no, Stargate was way longer.
We for sure haven't. This is our 10th episode of 11th episode of Shameless. We did SG1 14 episodes.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
counting
Not
the
counting
recaps.
recap or the go backs.
Also, just
So-
as a heads up to everybody, we're not like the recap should just be one episode this time.
Yeah, if you joined us for the SG1 recaps,
We apologize.
we're not going to do it like that ever again.
Yeah, that was that just kind of happened. So
And actually,
Yeah,
this is the last dice roll set on the old formula.
wait, you're not rolling any more dice after this.
Well, no, but what I'm saying, the next show
Also
that we
last-
watch
That was
is
gonna have a new
on
formula?
the new
Okay.
formula to determine the dice, the new patent pending
pending formula.
formula. Yes.
So this is our
because I
new
had
Coke.
I had to redo the formula to be a bit more methodical, so that I could draw some diagrams around it and stuff instead of picking some random numbers and kind of doing some stuff like I did before. So it is a much more structured algorithm now. So it should be a little bit tighter on that 8 episode mark for the next batch of shows.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, before we get started, I wanted to ask you guys a question. This has
Go for it.
absolutely nothing to do with anything. I just heard this
Boxers.
on a different podcast. Really?
Zip.
Fasten. Sock, shoe, or sock, shoe, shoe.
Shoe, sock.
Wow, you savage.
Sock, go do stuff around the house, and then right before I leave, shoe, because I don't wear my shoes around my fucking house.
Oh, yeah, I don't either.
You have
I
your
usually
house
sock
shoes,
and then get
just like
distracted
Mr.
and I have
Rogers.
one sock. House shoes.
I don't have house shoes. And in fact, everyone I know who has house shoes is really bad about actually making them house shoes.
So here's the question. I heard this on another podcast. I thought it was really interesting. Let's say, hypothetically, that you can't make it next time to our next podcast session, but
Okay.
you can have a substitute stand in for you, and it can be anybody in the world. Who do you pick? And you can't pick Tig Notaro.
Bastard.
I'm still picking Tig Notaro.
You cheated. I knew you were going to say Tig Notaro. So, for me personally, I would pick El Cordova, previously known as Reina del Cid on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. You've probably seen her stuff. She's the one who did the Star Trek rap a few times. She did like the Star Trek drink rap about Romulan ale and Cardassian Canar. She's fucking hilarious.
Oh, I remember those.
Yeah, some people called her Seven of Rhyme. I just absolutely love her comedy style. It's like she's got like that type of deadpan British humor, except she's American. So,
Okay.
but yeah, it cracks me up. So yeah, I would have her fill in for me, and which would actually I kind of wouldn't want to have because she'd be so much funnier than I am. So
Yeah, why don't we just get
Yeah.
El Cordova?
yeah, it was like, you're fired, Victor.
This is easy for me because one of my favorite podcasters has not podcasted in a very long time that I'm aware of. And I really want him back. And I actually just watched him on Actually earlier today. And it's Demi Adejuyigbe. Adejuyigbe. I always slaughter that last name. But Demi is fucking hilarious.
What show is the show's called? Actually.
He was a guest on the TV show.
He was a guest on Actually.
Oh, okay.
His podcasting history is he did Gilmore Guys for 2014, 2017, which I haven't listened to. But what I have listened to is Punch Up the Jam, which is one of my favorite podcasts of all time. In its original incarnation, because Pump Up the Jam has had 3 incarnations at this point. The first was the absolute best. The second was okay. And then the third, I was not a fan of.
It's actually called Pump Up the Jam?
Yeah, Punch Up the Jam.
Also, if you ever saw the September 22nd videos,
Yeah,
where
the
it was a
videos
guy
that come out every September 21st for
21st.
Earth, Wind, and Fire. I'm going to... Oh, if you haven't seen those, as soon as we're done recording, we're watching them together.
Okay.
they're just increasingly more out there music videos to remixes of September by Earth, Wind, and Fire. And they get ridiculous. All right. Well, I need to pick somebody to fill in for me. And it's just for one episode, right?
Yeah, just one episode, yeah.
Tig Notaro.
See, I knew you guys were going to say
I will go with... I'm overthinking this. I'm really overthinking this. I'm sorry. See, this is why I like having these things told to me ahead of time. I spend the 17 minutes before the podcast figuring everything out because I have to actually have a plan. Like, I have to justify
I'm sorry,
everything.
I forgot it. I didn't follow the rules, Ben.
Yeah. it is. No, it's not a rule. It's just it prevents this from happening. I'll say we go with Ewan McGregor.
Okay.
Okay.
I think he's fun. He seems interesting, and he would keep you guys on task.
How did this happen? We're smarter than this.
Ewan McGregor could play you in the LTO movie. Yeah, you got that same beard energy going on. And
I think he's taller than me, but I'm okay with it.
You're Ben, old Ben Kenobi. That works. Yeah, Obi-Wan. That's all
He
pretty
just
funny.
occasionally forgets that he's playing a different Ben and slips into old Ben Kenobi. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Fun a little bit. We could
Saw a
do
funny
in the
picture.
LTO movie.
Saw a funny picture the other day of Mark Hamill and Alec Guinness in 1979 when they were doing New Hope, and it was then and now, and then the now was a picture of Mark Hamill and Ewan McGregor.
That's fun. What's also fun is we open on the entire family.
This is
It's
cute.
the
I
whole
like
cast
this.
refusing to do a last time recap. I was prepared to fast forward, and then I hit the button once and saw that it was immediately the theme song. So
Yeah, they didn't do any recap
didn't
at
do
all.
one.
Yep, they were
That's
serious. Yeah, and Kevin
And-
pulls a Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And says,
We don't get paid enough to recap it for you. You guys are getting paid? Oh, come on, man.
"What is that originally from? Is that from Meet the Millers?"
That meme, I believe, is from Meet the Millers.
Okay, yeah. Still haven't seen that movie, but I looked it up because I've seen that so many different times. And
so-
Frank has apparently OD'd on heroin again.
Yeah, the heroin that we saw him buy, presumably.
Well, I don't know. The family did say he OD'd again, so this might be more fucking heroin. We don't know.
Fair.
I will tell you guys, for as much as this show usually gets stuff really good, having watched somebody OD on heroin, this is not what it looks like.
Oh, that's scary.
It is scary. it is one of the most traumatic memories I've had. And not fun. People, don't try heroin.
Don't do it. When I was a long time ago, back when I was still
on heroin,
I one of my duties was I had to be a UPL. It was a unit prevention leader, which was just a fancy form of saying that I was responsible for handling cups of piss for drug tests, and I had to attend like a week-long training session where we learned all sorts of way overqualified for the job doing of just handling cups of piss and putting them in a fucking box to mail out to a testing lab. But anyway, we had to learn about all the drugs and everything on the market and everything. Well, yeah, I got to tell you, what scared me the most was they showed us a slide of an MRI of someone or some kind of brain scan or something and it was someone who had just eaten a cheeseburger, and it was highlighted all the little dopamine receptors in your brain that fire off, giving you the pleasure from eating a cheeseburger, right? And then it showed a slide of someone who was high on cocaine, and it was like fucking huge. That scared the piss out of me because I really like cheeseburgers, and I was like, "Fuck, dude, I'm never doing cocaine because I won't be able to stop."
It's like eating 10 cheeseburgers at the same time.
Yeah.
The thing I've heard is actually the walk hard bit where he comes into the back room and Tim Meadows is like, "It turns all your bad feelings into good feelings." And they're like, that's actually what it is. Like, it's not that it makes you feel better. It's that everything feels amazing. And I'm like, I'd never be able to not do cocaine. If that's what happened, I would just instant boom. Yeah. I'm a cocaine addict.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure heroin is more potent than cocaine, so that's like, fuck, dude, I'm never touching that stuff. And I hate needles too, so
but like with heroin, it like, from my understanding, it just like, heroin is like putting your brain into like a nice warm bath and everything is just relaxing. Whereas cocaine is just like, everything you do is the best thing it's ever been, which is why people on cocaine tend to be more hyper.
And speaking of Ewan McGregor, I remember seeing Train Spotting, and that apparently heroin hits you like immediately. I don't know how it works. Listeners in the Discord, let us know. Have you done heroin?
Well, I've seen the immediate aftermath of a friend of mine who did heroin. He turned 30.
Scary.
And he was he's actually, everything worked out, and he's actually become like a really like, he's a successful author, like runs charities, like super awesome dude.
Oh, okay.
But he had his 30th birthday, and he was just like, I'm a writer. Like, a lot of my favorite writers, like, they did drugs and like they did heroin, and like I just need to know because
so it was part of his business plan.
Well, it's like I want to like connect with Hemingway, and I want to connect with these people who are my idols, and
get better idols.
But so it was his birthday party. Most of us were just in the kitchen, like eating pizza, and then these two other people came in. He walked with them into his bedroom, and then 5 minutes later, they come out. The guy is just like half-heartedly looking at it, like trying to type into his phone, and then he closes it. The girl he's with is just stone-faced, like dead eyes. I don't care. Like, this has ruined my night. And the guy just goes, somebody might want to call 911, and then get in their car and leave. My friend is in his bedroom ODing on heroin. He is turning blue.
Yeah.
It is one of the scariest things I've ever seen. And we got very, very lucky because my wife, who is a teacher, had just done her CPR certification and was able to be like, okay, I can assess the situation. Our friend here he is still breathing. His heart is still beating. Get him on his side into recovery position. And I'm lucky that we were there because one of this guy's other friends, like, and it's understandable, but he immediately panicked. And it's one thing, as riddled with anxiety as I always am, in disaster situations, I don't panic. And it's basically, my wife was keeping him in recovery position while I was preventing this other guy from immediately giving CPR to a guy whose heart is still beating and who is still breathing.
Okay.
Because he's freaking out because our friend is blue. It's scary. And so I'm calling the police, trying to get them to send out an ambulance, stopping this guy from freaking and screaming and trying to direct them to a place that I've only been to tonight. And I've got no idea really where I am. But we were able to keep him on his side, keep his airway clear. He recovered. He is now a wonderful member of society. He didn't follow the same route as the famous Reddit thread of a guy who tried heroin once, and then his life completely collapsed because he instantly became an addict. So, for being around somebody overdosing on heroin, best case scenario.
We should probably record a content warning for the top of this episode.
Yeah,
Heroin.
Don't worry, I'll throw that
Thanks.
in when I do the edit. Yeah.
So Frank's out on the couch. We see the family mostly unbothered, unable to do anything. And we see that he left a note before cutting away. Tammy and Lip leave after Debbie lays on something thick that we missed last episode.
About selling the house?
Lip has done something to prevent the house from being sold.
Yes.
We don't find out what. We see a cabinet is now off half of a hinge and hanging sideways in the kitchen, which is kind of gestured as something that's recent and needs to be fixed. Guys, what do we think happened in this kitchen that makes this house unsellable, but they're still living in it?
Well,
Let's get weird with it.
Let's get
I kind of got the impression that it's that because last episode weren't they about to sell the house? Like they had the buyers.
It was
there?
already
Yeah.
sold.
So Lip fucked it up somehow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say what happened was Lip is in some dire financial situations here. It sounds like he's super stressed that he's got this baby and apparently another baby on the way, but we'll get to that.
Yeah,
And
it's the next scene.
yeah, so he's freaking out. He's trying to get as much money as he can from this house, and he remembers back to season 2 or 3, I believe it was, Frank's advice, the copper pipes. So Lip is like, we need to get all the copper pipes out of this house before we sell it.
Okay.
I think it's a little simpler than that. Normally, Xhafer, you say everything that happens is Frank's fault.
Yeah.
In this case, I don't think it is. Because our Gallaghers are growing up. And I think that what happened is, this is how Deb met her new girlfriend, Heidi. Heidi stole the new buyer's car and drove it away. And they went and chased after it, and because of all of the shenanigans and everything, and then them running into Deb hooks up with Heidi later, and she's like, "You're the girl who just stole the car from out front of our house. Like, I am so into you." And they're like, "We found you. You planned this." And think that it was actually, instead of Deb falling in love with the worst person in the world, it must have been a giant scheme. And so they pull out because of Deb.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say it's Frank's fault. Even though it's clearly Lip's fault, everyone blames Lip. I'm going to say Lip brings them in the house while Frank is ODing. Like, they walk in and Frank is just shooting up this heroin with the new buyers, and they immediately bail.
Damn. And Lip doesn't get his bike back either, huh? Because they already sold his bike. Fuck. That's the worst part of it all. Damn.
All right. Well, Tammy and Lip sit out on the porch discussing their day. Tammy believes she's pregnant again. And Lip ends up smoking that cigarette that he had said he wasn't going to.
This
Yeah, he
show,
throws it-
man.
Yeah. Is that the one that you threw on the grass and then picked it up
Yeah.
and smoked? That's so gross.
This show makes me want to smoke.
It has been
makes
very
me-
hard to stay quit watching this show.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
made me glad I never picked it up. I tried smoking cigars when I was younger, but that was too expensive. So
The look Ian gives Mickey here. So they're loading up the ambulance with the furniture, and when Mickey goes, "What do you need a dresser for? We got floors." I felt Ian's soul leave his body for a moment.
I felt like Ian was staring at me because that's my current laundry situation up in my bedroom right now. And actually, my dirty laundry hamper is at the bottom of the stairs right here behind me because it's just closer to the door. So I just throw my dirty laundry in the corner there. So
Yeah.
I can see Ben having an anxiety attack right now.
If you don't have built-ins, it's a very different situation.
What's a built-in?
Like if you don't have laundry in your apartment, condo, whatever it is.
Oh, yeah, no, I got to go to a laundromat, so yeah.
Yeah.
annoying.
Yeah, it is a different situation. You have to
Still,
plan
you should
differently.
have a dresser.
So,
I do have a dresser, I just don't use it. Ben is so angry right now.
after this, Franny gets sexiled for what will surely not be a core traumatic memory of her grandpa ODing.
I haven't heard that word in a long time, being sexiled. That's
And
an
this just
Urban
made me so
Dictionary
sad
ever.
because
Yeah.
Deb went from being like a nice sweet kid who's like, I will do anything, I will run a daycare that gives me a stress rash, to
She's picking up her dad's habits. Yeah.
or her mom's.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
as alluded to at the end of the episode, her mom's habits.
And Franny goes downstairs as Frank wakes up and wanders out into the world.
Frank goes on one last tour of
Frank-
Chicago.
Very notably, walks into the light. The way that this is shot and framed, he opens the door and it's very bright outside. To the point where at first I thought this was Frank dying. Until we cut back and see Franny not like on the couch empty. I was like, oh, Frank just died. I had to like scribble it out on my notes. The alibi is going to turn into like a tiny Whole Foods or an escape room or some shit.
Kevin is serving foo-foo drinks to, I wrote down Morn and Norm.
Yeah.
But I forgot to mention this last episode. We actually got their names for the first time, I think. Or at least for the
we've
first
had
time
'em.
I noticed it. Yeah, well, I was going to say for the first time I've noticed it, but it's Kermit and Tommy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great names for barflies.
Frank wanders down to the closed down Patsy's Pies,
Yeah.
which I didn't think he had a particularly strong connection to, but the show had several seasons there, so.
I'm surprised it's still there.
Yeah. We cut over to Carl, who's been put on parking enforcement, and is taking out his anger at the upper and middle classes the only way he can.
Go, Carl!
Because he's giving out $6,000 in tickets later. And it was like,
Yep.
dang, Carl.
And he's specifically targeting the upper class.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd say it. I'm so proud of you, Carl.
I know this is one of those things, like, he is really on, like, you know, you got to watch out if there's a hot Carl going around.
Not Carl.
What?
He's in his little tri-wheel tricycle golf cart, whatever the fuck it is. His meter-made vehicle. I love the camera angle that they set up of of the sirens lights on top of his ridiculous little parking ticket vehicle.
Yeah. Anyways, Lip and his old manager talk about delivering, making ends meet, and maybe starting up a new shop here. Give some hope for Lip.
Yeah, the Lip's become a door dasher now, and he's borrowing his old buddy's motorcycle to make it happen. I was gonna ask, is that the nationwide? Is DoorDash nationwide, or is that just a local thing? Do you
It's nationwide.
guys have it there?
DoorDash, Grubhub, and Uber Eats are all technically nationwide, but the area you're in
Yeah.
will change the availability of drivers and how quick you can get things.
Yeah, I was gonna say Favor is the one I used to use the most often. But I found out that's
Yeah.
just a Texas thing. So
I use Grubhub because I have Grubhub Plus for free. So
same. Yep, worth it.
I don't use them.
you shouldn't. They're terrible.
Yeah,
I'm morally against them.
Yeah. Yeah. They
course
get
you are,
used
Ben.
when I'm sick. And for the most part, a lot of places that would have delivered normally and had their own delivery people have actually just outsourced it completely at this point. So it's difficult to avoid.
I also just don't do delivery ever.
yeah. Let me guess. You don't like somebody else handling your food that
No,
doesn't need to
it's-
be, or
I pick it up myself. I don't know. I guess it's. I think part of it is like me growing up rather rural, I couldn't get delivery.
Ah,
You just go pick it up.
yeah.
My
I've been trying
my
to do
time
that
is
more
worth
because it's
the, like
expensive,
the 20% upcharge plus tip.
Right. Yeah.
The upcharge has gotten out of control.
Especially now that I live in the city where it's like I can just go there. It's a mile and a half away.
Yeah.
Speaking of just going there, Ian and Mickey are furniture shopping.
This scene.
This scene.
This is another bit of like they are really writing down this season, or because like the saleswoman is wearing a Stop the Steal sweater, and it's like you would not be allowed to wear that at work.
Yeah.
You would be
Yeah,
told,
say it
hey, I
depends
don't
on your
care
boss."
about your opinions. Like we're selling stuff.
That just tells me that her boss is also probably wearing a Stop the Steal shirt.
Yeah. But Mickey's just like, oh man, you got a problem stealing? And it's like, oh right, yeah, Mickey can't vote. He is not clocked into any of this. And they are fighting with each other in the middle of this woman still also trying to sell because she is a saleswoman.
This ends with Ian storming out, making an allusion to Pizzagate, and Mickey completely missing it and going, "We're getting pizza?" and being very excited.
Was Pizzagate a real thing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll look into that after the show because I'm sure it's a whole thing.
There was a belief that there was a DC pedophile sex ring inside of a pizza parlor
Oh, for Christ's
in the
sake.
basement of a building that doesn't have a basement. And a guy believed it so much he showed up to a pizza place with guns because he was going to free all the children who were trapped in the basement.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking humans. Okay.
I mean, Pizzagate is the, like, you know how you hear that the Nigerian print scheme is still in use because anyone who responds to it is clearly gullible enough to fall for whatever?
Yeah.
I feel like Pizzagate was that for QAnon. Like, if you were buying into QAnon at Pizzagate, that was the Nigerian Prince litmus test.
Like, you'll fall for any of the stuff that's coming.
Yeah.
Now my opinion of Deb now falls to the lowest it's ever been as she gets tricked into helping her new girlfriend Heidi steal a car.
They don't like titles, Ben. Heidi kind of avoids titles. I don't know if you caught this. So I refer to her as co-conspirator of sexual congress.
No, she doesn't like titles because that proves she doesn't own the car.
Ooh, okay. Yep, that was a joke, Ben.
But also, titles don't matter. Titles are defining things that are happening. It doesn't matter what you call it.
Yep, but she steals a car. Debbie's in love. Kevin is having second, but given how he's been written the last couple of seasons, should probably say first thoughts. Knowing he's getting pretty upset when it's the twins come in and reveal that they are wearing a Bengals and Reds jersey, respectively.
Yeah.
And
He's like,
Cincinnati
No.
teams.
I think this is the first time we've actually seen the twins. I mean, the three of us we've heard them referred to before.
No, we've
I don't
seen
think we've
them.
ever actually. I don't remember ever actually seeing them on screen.
I know we have.
We've seen them as babies. I don't
Yes.
think we've seen them as, like, tiny people yet, though.
Okay.
I believe at one
Maybe,
point,
yeah.
Franny was put into a playpen with them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think you're right. Yep.
Kev threatens divorce. Bears and Cubs forever, he says.
Gross.
He's wrong, but I respect the hell out of it.
I thought doesn't he at least say White Sox?
No,
I think he says White
is-
Sox.
I believe he... Was it White Sox?
Yes, because they say
Yeah.
you're never allowed to put Cubs on the TV.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, so it must be the White Sox then.
Now, real quick, sorry, I had to plug in my tablet, but now in the scene where Debbie unknowingly helps Heidi boost a car, I'm conflicted here. I was very conflicted at the scene because there's a puppy in the backseat of that car. So, Heidi, I can accept you stealing cars. I cannot accept you stealing a puppy. But, however, whoever's car that was, they left the puppy in the car. and that's unforgivable. So
Hold up. Look. Sometimes it is okay to leave a dog in a car for under 20 minutes
yeah,
when it is acceptable for the weather.
yeah. I was
They're
gonna say,
in
this is
also in a
Chicago.
parking garage, so it's not outside in the
Yeah.
direct
So
sunlight.
it is in Chicago, so that's okay. Okay, I can live with that. In Texas, it's a lot different. In Texas, it's just always stupid fucking hot here, and you can't.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
I know. If it's
yeah.
stupid fucking hot, you can't leave the dog in the car. Like, for sure. But, I mean, I've definitely had the dog in the car and had to, like, run in and grab something.
Yeah. I've done that before too. We've all done it.
It happens.
You do it with puppies, you do it with babies. It's fine. So
No. We then find out that their first person taking a look at the alibi wants to turn it into a upscale tanning salon with a cryo chamber.
and an escape room.
Yeah. Liam goes looking for Frank. First place he checks, dumpsters.
Yeah.
I love that so much. That was so adorable.
And as he's wandering around, we are seeing all the signs of gentrification. All of the houses, like the 2 houses next door to our Gallaghers, have already sold. We've got new businesses going in that are catering to a more moneyed clientele than what we had before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a big
Frank-
theme in this episode is gentrification. It's probably been a big
Yes.
theme this season, I think.
I would imagine. Seems to be that between last episode and this. Frank is not to be found by Liam, but instead by God, as he walks into a church.
And he is thinking he's still an altar boy.
Yeah, he has a flashback to his youth. He refers to himself as Francis, and he is late for starting service. The pastor here does the 100% correct move.
Priest.
He like gets him going. Well, he doesn't matter.
It actually slightly does. Yeah.
What's the difference? Is it just
Catholicism.
denomination?
Yeah.
Okay. It's just okay. There's not like one can perform exorcisms or something. Like there's not like it's effectively the same thing, Ben.
I mean, if you called him an imam, it would also be wrong.
Yes, but the distinction is you knew exactly what I fucking meant and still felt the need to correct me.
The right term, I don't know.
You're a living Facebook comment.
The priest does the right thing here
There you
by
go.
getting Frank going. And just getting him, here's the lighter, here's the matches, get going, start service, don't forget these candles. And the organ player is like, do we call the police? He's like, no, you call an ambulance.
Yeah, that's sweet. I'm glad they did the right thing here.
Yeah. Lip delivers his first DoorDash, while Carl has handed out the aforementioned $6,000 in tickets.
Now,
They run
Carl-
Deb's girlfriend through his old partner's onboard while they stop to give him lunch.
Heidi Crunch is her name.
Yeah.
That's a great name for a criminal.
Did you pause? Did you read the list of charges?
Oh, it's
Because
huge.
domestic violence was the top of the list.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Oh, jeez. Oh, no.
Also, when Lip delivers his first DoorDash, he fixes a guy's computer and makes a big trade. The guy makes $4,000 in 1 second and gives him a 20. And this was Lip seeing what he could have been had he not blown his life up. Because like he was supposed to be working in Wall Street.
Yeah, apparently Lip learned stock trading at some point, I guess.
And then we have some more bits of Lip living the gig worker life, waiting in lines, delivering,
Yeah.
and seeing the pittance he is making. And it's like, that $15 an hour might look a little bit better now, Lip.
Yeah.
It's not great. It's in fact very bad.
Yeah.
But he's actually then behind the ambulance with Frank in it.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
It's a good cut. An offer comes in at the alibi, but it's lower than they had hoped for. Liam
Still
wanders
looking for
into
Frank.
the alibi, still looking for Frank.
Why was this not his first stop?
Right?
He might have been going to places on the way, checking dumpsters he might have crawled into on the way to the alibi. We don't really know how far away it is. It's hard to say. I assume walking distance from the houses, but
Stumbling distance for sure.
Ian and Mickey go to Kevin V's to look at furniture that they don't need, and Ian fixates on the crib, and they talk about adopting a baby.
Proving once again, as much as they've come together, they have the worst communication of any couple. Like, hey, I already signed the lease. Plus, we're taking a crib because I want a baby. And it's like, maybe you shouldn't have married Mickey then.
Ian says to Mickey
Yeah.
that he would be a great dad, and I put in my notes in all caps, no, Mickey would not be a great dad. What are you doing, Ian?
As a father,
This, I can't. I can't even. Like, Ian, you're smarter than this. Good Lord. Ugh.
yeah, instead of doing like the horrible stereotypical boomer thing of like, when my daughter's boyfriend comes the first time, I'll be at my table cleaning my gun. Mickey's the kind of guy who's just like, the first time somebody shows up to take my kid out, I'm in their back seat with the garrote. And I'm like, I've already got you. And you will not escape if you ever hurt them.
Lip talks to Liam about looking for Frank when he gets an unexpected offer in on the house. And then we cut over to Debbie and Heidi, who says they should Thelma and Louise it. Like, y'all, have you seen that movie?
The first 2/3, it was awesome.
And Debbie and Heidi are fucking fully clothed, and yeah, I think I had lost my points for nudity on this episode. The first episode where we get no nudity at all is the finale, for crying out loud. Anyway, we'll get to that later. So
I don't think there was any last episode either.
yeah, I think you're right. You might be right about that too.
But yeah, she's like, hey, just come to El Paso. You can work down there. And it's like, that's not how contractors' licenses work. I don't know. Maybe it is in Texas.
I don't think Heidi is too concerned about licensing.
Yep. And Franny finds Frank's
You don't need
suicide note and starts drawing on it.
It was actually kind of adorable in a sad way.
Frank gets taken to the ER here. When he gets taken in, he has a crazy high fever and low blood oxygen. So they decide to do a full COVID test rather than the rapid test. He keeps calling her his nurse, Fiona.
Yeah.
And we get some cuts back to season 1.
Yeah.
Which, can I just say, I was concerned that they were going to pull a Jadzia here, to where like one of the things I regret most about Deep Space Nine is in the very final episode of DS9, they did flashbacks for all the main characters, but with Dax, Ezri Dax, for whatever reason they couldn't get Terry Farrell, and yeah, it was complete Jadzia erasure. I was worried.
I think it was more of a screw you to Terry Farrell.
I think so. We'll talk about it more on my upcoming podcast, Attention Bajoran Workers, tune in. But anyway.
In like 2 years when that episode airs.
Right. Stay
3
tuned,
years,
everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad that they actually had Fiona, at the very least, archive footage of her here. That was good. I was worried they were going to have Fiona erasure.
Carl and Arthur arrive at the alibi, followed by...
Speaking of Carl, sorry, I meant to mention this earlier. We get some really good shots of Carl's uniform. And yeah, I noticed what you had mentioned last episode about how the Chicago flag is totally wrong.
Yeah.
And I looked into this, and there's a whole ass Reddit thread about
Yeah.
about what's wrong. And yeah, and I could not find, and not in the production notes, nothing. I couldn't find any explanation for why they have the incorrect flag on the police uniforms.
It might
There's
be
theories floating around.
It might just be we make something specifically wrong on them so that no one uses them to impersonate a cop.
Yeah, that was one of the theories. But then again, I mean, there's so many fucking shows out there, like so many cop shows. I mean, do they do that every single time? I don't think so. I mean, like on NYPD
It might be
Blue and
something they're doing now.
NCIS.
Just yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, a lot of people said that they were worried the Chicago PD would be upset with the show for portraying them in a negative light. I'm like, I doubt that.
But our cops here do connect with me as they talk about their love of a good dive bar, and I'm like, I do love a dive bar. Like,
Same. I love it.
you can keep your fancy upscale bar with your Edison bulbs and your mixologists. Just give me a nice dingy bar where it's like, yeah, you haven't been able to smoke in here in 30 years. You can still smell it. and I get a shot of whiskey in a clean glass on a sticky bar. Like, that's what I want.
I don't know why, but I just saw a flash forward to 15 years from now, Ben, when you are opening a dive bar and you have 2 cartons of cigarettes just lit in the center of the room to give it that smell before you open.
You gotta have the ambiance, man.
You gotta marinate
this place
the
was
bar.
built 3 weeks ago. Why does it smell like cigarettes?
One of the sad things, my family used to own a bar, and it did not survive until I was around. But at one point they did. It once got shot up.
Oh wow.
Really? In me not doxing you, the town you grew up in, I'm guessing?
Nearby.
Huh. Okay. I mean drugs, so
Lots of petty crime involved.
yeah. All right. All right. Well, Carl and Arthur arrive at the alibi, followed by everyone else as they set up something secret. And Frank is fully diagnosed with the vid.
Yeah.
The nurses see the "Do not resuscitate" tattoo and ID him, and he is a legend in the ER.
I do love the bit of just they see the tattoo and is that legally binding?
Yes.
We gotta call legal.
Yeah. That was my first thought as well. It's is that
Also,
Does
guys,
that count?
when they're talking about setting up the party, V mentions the dancers are upstairs. Did you guys have any guess that this was going to be the kind of dancers they had?
no clue at all.
100%.
We'll get into that later.
I knew immediately.
Oh, okay.
So
Because it's Mickey?
Yeah. Because it's Mickey.
Yeah.
So I knew this was happening the entire time, right? This is very Mickey is doing stuff in the background to set
Right.
this up the entire episode. There's maybe 2 scenes with Mickey in this episode where he is not doing something in the background to set this up, and it is when it is just him and Ian at Kevin V's, and it was when they are at the furniture rental place. Every other time we see Mickey, he is giving hand signals or checking or nodding at other people in the cast.
Yeah.
He has clearly been setting this up the entire episode.
Oh, but did you think it was going to be Polish dancers?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just
because that's,
come on, how
that's
did you
so
know?
Mickey. Because that's so Mickey. It's so Mickey.
I was just they're gonna have strippers at the alibi close?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Because that felt
upstairs
Kevin and
used to be
V.
yeah, because upstairs used to be a brothel at the alibi, so the dancers are upstairs.
And so we find out now, Ian has been saying hey, is today the 21st or the 20th? It's the 21st. And been getting nothing. He's just you asshole, it's our wedding anniversary. And he's huh, I guess it is. Okay, cool. And walks into the alibi, and as Xhafer has pointed out, it's a surprise wedding anniversary, and this is very cute. Though,
Speaking of which, guys, do you know what day it is right now for us recording?
It's
Not when this airs.
Saturday. Oh, it's Saturday, dude. Yeah, it's the 8th.
It's the 8th?
Yeah,
Okay, we're going to recut that.
Say the
it's
13th.
Thursday. It's the 13th.
It's the 13th.
Yeah, it's
The 13th. Does that
What?
mean anything to you, Ben?
no
The 13th?
No.
Thursday. I never could get the hang of
No?
Thursdays.
Well, surprise, y'all.
What?
It is our 1-year anniversary of this podcast.
What?
As we record.
Yeah.
That's
It'll
amazing.
air 2 weeks after.
I didn't
That's
get
what
you
I have
guys
right now.
anything.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I didn't get you guys anything either.
It is
Yeah.
also
A year of LTO, guys.
yeah.
We did it.
LTO.
Most podcasts do not make it this far, so that's always
No.
exciting.
Yeah,
No,
that
it is a statistically significant gap to cross. The 1-year gap is a big one for podcasts, and we did it. And
The Goon Squad still going
we'll
strong.
get back. The Goon Squad's still going strong. We'll get back to the episode in a minute, but I would just like to take a moment and reflect. I really appreciate this space with you guys.
Aw.
This podcast is a lot of fun for me personally. It kind of started as just Ben and I wanting to do a thing and get back in the, Ben wanted to get back in the saddle. I was doing Who Are You? And, we had done Draft the Universe for so long. And this was the second idea I ever had for a podcast was this crazy roulette game where we skip episodes. and we were going to do this or Draft the Universe. We decided to do Draft the Universe. And so for us to come back and do this is also very fun and fulfilling for me. Obviously, Ben, we see each other very often because we are just ingrained in each other's lives at this point. So I don't miss you or anything. Like it's hard for me to say that I appreciate this time because I see you regularly outside of this space. But Victor, I do not see you regularly outside of this space. This is our main form of interaction outside of texting. It's been lovely to get to know you as a person.
Thank you.
You're a great dude.
Great.
You're a great podcasting partner.
Thank you.
You bring a lot to this show. And I do really appreciate having you on. I'm glad you decided to stick around after Stargate.
Yeah. I'm honored. I'm honestly still very honored that you invited me to be on this show, because when I first heard the concept of it, I fucking loved it, because I've listened to a lot of podcasts, and it's pretty rare that you hear an original idea in podcasting, because there's hundreds, thousands, maybe of podcasts about 3 or 4 dudes sitting around talking about a TV show that's been done to death. To actually hear something original and interesting, I was so happy to be a part of this, and it's just been a blast. And yeah, here's to another year.
One of the saddest things that happened with Draft the Universe was we came up with the idea, started recording it, and in between us starting to record it and releasing our first episode, a similar, slightly different podcast on a much bigger podcast network came out. Mm-hmm. It's like, we didn't steal the idea. We've been recording for months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happens.
It was like the whole Judge Dredd versus the Raid thing. Which, if you don't know, when the movie Dredd came out, which is about Judge Dredd fighting his way up a hotel or a high-rise building, then that's just before that came out, The Raid, a movie about a cop fighting his way up a high-rise building. And Dredd had already finished filming and was in all the post-production special effects stuff. They filmed and released The Raid inside post-production. So Dredd felt like it was copying The Raid.
Oh, man. It's like a Deep Impact and Armageddon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sharknado and Shark Tornado. I don't know. There's probably a Sharknado ripoff somewhere. I know there's tons of examples of this type of thing, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. Yeah.
Not terribly uncommon. It's like the same reason why dealerships are always next to each other. So they're trying to just get in on the same set of business. They all grow because of it. Anyways, so yeah, it's been a surprise anniversary party this whole time. From Mickey, Ian comes inside, the whole family's there, and there's a big old party. And this is basically the rest of the episode here is cutting in between this party and Frank in the ER.
Yeah.
And everybody...
Frank is spirit walking.
This is my reaching out to you as Ben, your friend, your internet father figure. A surprise anniversary party is the thing that can work on a TV show. Do not let your partner think you have forgotten an important day like this. There are ways to do surprise anniversary parties. Do something like, hey, talk about what you're going to do for your anniversary and throw a surprise party the weekend before. Mm-hmm. Talk about the thing you want to do for your significant other's birthday and have that surprise party on the way there. Do not pretend like you had forgotten, because unless you're in a TV show, that sours that person's mood and they're going to have a bad time at the surprise party. It's like, I was pissed and now I'm surrounded by people and oh no, suddenly I spent all of this work throwing a surprise party and the person isn't even happy I did this.
Yeah. I'm mad at you, but I'm the bad guy for being mad at you because I'm mad at the surprise party because you act like you've forgotten everything all day.
Yes. Similarly, everybody, your friend Ben here, a marriage proposal should never be a surprise. The time should be a surprise.
Oh.
The fact that you're doing it shouldn't be. It works in movies.
Have a conversation about it.
It works 100%. In TV. Do not do it in real life. Also, take if you're going to be providing a ring, Take that person ring shopping. If they're the one who's going to be wearing it, do not leave them subject to your taste. This has been your Ben is your internet dad corner. Yeah.
Anyways, so the ER finds Frank's files, and it's a fucking cart. This is 20 people worth of medical history.
Carl's cop buddy, I didn't get his name.
Arthur.
I wrote down Gomez. He's talking about buying the alibi to turn it into a cop bar.
Why you have to do it to me, man? My boy, it's Gomez, my boy. God,
He's very gone.
he got shot a lot.
He got
did.
shot a lot. He did.
But he should have got shot more. There was a lot of bullets missing in that scene. Like, I'm not saying he deserved to get shot more, but I am saying watching that, there's very poor accuracy.
Oh, yeah. That was one of the worst stormtrooper shootouts in TV history, I swear. So.
Yeah. It was like, there's so many bullets.
We also
Anyways,
find out the offer Lip got for the house is do not take it.
Yeah.
Do not.
It's real low.
Yeah. But, he's so desperate that he's... I think they left that ambiguous as to whether or not... Yeah, they did. They left it ambiguous as to whether or not...
They leave
he
a couple
is gonna
things
take it.
ambiguous at the end of this episode.
Yeah, just like with Debbie, screwing up my prediction about her going off and living on her own. They cut it off before Debbie gave an answer to Heidi. But I mean, thinking that how well we know Debbie, she's going to make horrible decisions. So she's probably going to go.
Frank sees himself back at home with the Cove Lip Show device, remembering happy times.
Frank materializes at the bar and has a gift from heaven, this mug of beer that refills itself.
Yeah,
And then as he dies in the hospital, he raises up through the roof over the city of Chicago as everybody sings a song as a car burns.
Yeah, randomly there's a guy with a Tesla that catches fire right outside the alibi.
I mean, it's a Tesla.
I didn't recognize this character.
No, it's
I
just
don't know
some
if-
rich guy
It's just some,
with a bad car.
Yep.
Yep.
Batteries can explode and catch fire, y'all.
Yeah.
And then the ending narration is the suicide letter that mirrors the narration from our pilot.
Yep. The burning car, the Frank narration. Yep. It's all very, very neat. The bow
It's like
on
poetry.
everything
Called it.
closes up.
I freaking called it. And the show ends the same way it began, with everyone singing around the bonfire. And I'll have to go back and check. I think they're singing the same song from the very first pilot episode.
I would believe it,
Yeah.
given how much allusion they make to that episode in this one.
Yeah.
And then we go to credits, and we've got Frank's cremation.
Just
I hope you both saw this.
Yeah.
Yes.
This was the best after credits. This is the perfect way to end this show, I thought.
Yeah.
Or at the very least to end Frank's storyline.
They the technicians at the cremation facility make some comments about how much he smells like vodka. They make a joke about him being pickled. They throw him in the cremation chamber, and his blood alcohol content is so high that it causes an explosion. His blood is literally burnt combustible.
That's a hell of a way to go.
Too
man.
much
That's-
fun.
That's, yeah.
It
that
would
was
ha-
pretty
his
awesome.
blood would have to be 50% alcohol for this to happen, by the way. He'd literally have to be 100 proof. That's why it's 100 proof is 100 proof. If you hit 100 proof, it's the proof of the alcohol because it will burn. That's where that term comes from. And why
Brewmaster
that measure
Xhafer.
is set up that way.
Brewmaster
for his
Xhafer
blood to
dropping
burn,
facts.
right? For his blood to burn, he would have to be at a 50% blood alcohol content.
And for you to explode, it's probably way above that.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm sure that's the only factually inaccurate thing that they've ever gotten wrong on this show.
This whole episode,
Yeah,
yeah.
this whole
the
this
one
whole
thing they
series,
got
yeah.
wrong.
Yeah,
Everything
totally.
else scientifically accurate 100% of the time. Well, we did it.
We did it.
Yeah.
You know what? I just got to say, guys, there's something wrong with me. There has to be.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Because recently I binge watched The Bear, and I saw the final episode of The Bear the other day. it was good. I thought it was a little annoying. The feels at the end. It had too many feels. I mean, sorry, no spoilers for anyone who's ever seen it, but there's a whole lot of fucking feels. And it annoyed me. But watching the final episode of Shameless, I actually got choked up a couple times. Like, especially with Liam. You know, he was the only one who gave a shit about Frank. And I thought it was really sweet. And it really got to me a couple times. He was the only one. And, you know, when he looked back and it got to me. That made me choke up a little bit. That's kind of fucked up because this made me choke up, but The Bear pissed me off. And it's one of the highest rated, award-winningest fucking shows that have come out in recent years. It's obscene
really good.
How many awards it's gotten. I thought it was overrated. I don't know. Something wrong with me.
I think it's fantastic. I really enjoy it. Yeah. So we don't know what show we'll be doing next.
Nope, not yet.
We still have to figure that out. If this is your first time making it to the end of a series with us, listener, here's how this is going to work. Next week, we're going to do a recap episode where we'll be joined by Laura, my co-host on Who Are You, who is going to be our Shameless expert.
Shameless Sherpa.
Or Shameless.
Shameless Sherpa.
That's way better than anything I had. And that's awesome.
She's going to take us through the story of Shameless in about 40 minutes. Let's hope. And we will go through, we'll list off all of our predictions before then, any that we've got outstanding. Laura will confirm or tell us we were wrong on any outstanding predictions. We will total up those points, and we will have a winner for Shameless. We will then go back and watch a critically acclaimed episode, or the best episode. It'll probably be whatever Laura tells us to watch. Or we check on IMDb or something. Beth is about halfway through the show. She might have some input. But we will settle on an episode to go back and watch with context. And at the end of that episode, whoever got the most prediction points is going to pick our next show.
Currently, it looks like Xhafer is in the lead, just barely. Just really quick looking over at last week's predictions. You predicted that we see Julia. I don't remember who Julia is.
Julia was not. We did not see Julia.
The girl that Deb kissed.
Oh, right.
That's the daughter. I thought the mom was going to be out of the picture, but the daughter might stick around.
We got no Claudia, no Aunt Opie, so let me just plug that into my spreadsheet real quick. So that's 2 points and then 3 points.
Proud.
Oh, God. So, yeah. Xhafer, you're currently at an estimated 42 points. I'm at 37. Ben is somewhere between 14 and 50 points. So, Ben, you're the fucking wild card right now, man. I don't So, this is going to be interesting.
I know I've got a couple outstanding from the first episode, but pretty much onward, almost all of my predictions were we won't see again.
Yeah,
we will see again.
Your strategy was on the nose. You nailed it.
I mostly just didn't want ambiguity. I feel like SG1, a lot of the predictions were very hard to get definitive answers on. And so I just wanted to know what my points were, was the main driving factor behind my style of prediction for this show. I don't know that I'll do it again.
I just know I'm going to have to fight about 2 of my predictions from last time. Because Carl is going to buy the alibi. And so the Gallaghers will be taking it over. And
that's ambiguous. And Frank dying on the bar stool.
Spirit walking Frank is in the alibi before he dies and raises up when he does in his bar stool.
On his bar stool. I
very explicitly said that he passes away.
He dies in his bar stool.
He dies in his bar stool. He does not die in his bar stool.
His spirit is there when his body is dying.
No, yes, Ben, but I believe you very explicitly believe that is not dying. That is the spirit. The spirit is undying, correct? That's how souls work. The souls are undying, Ben.
He's in
the body's what dies, and the soul isn't what dies.
Yeah, so his spirit is in the
That's
soul.
how it works.
It's on the bar stool when his body is dying.
He is on a bar stool, yeah.
Yeah, but the spirit doesn't die, Ben. That's the whole point.
Frank's might.
Do we know that?
Frank's might.
Seriously. Frank's very combustible spirit. I was going to move that Ben gets half credit for this one, so that'd be 1.5 points.
I'm gonna leave this up to Laura. Laura
I'm
will be the arbiter.
100% on board for leaving it all, make it all Laura's problem.
Yes,
100%
Laura,
on board.
Laura, you have to clean up our mess. It's 3 more men that you have to fix all our problems. Well,
With that said, all that's left is to say thank you. So thank you, Ripe, for letting us use Goon Squad as a theme music. We appreciate the hell out of it. Currently on tour. They got dates planned for several months out. See if they're coming nearby. Go give them a listen. Ben, I checked, the closest show to us is in Ohio.
Boo.
you should never go to Ohio for anything. Fuck Ohio. Yeah. Ashley, if you're still listening to this, I'm talking to you. She's a friend of mine. I recommended her podcast. I doubt she's listening to it. She's from Ohio. She agrees. Every time I see an Ohio meme, I send it to her because Ohio's stupid. So yeah, our one listener in Ohio, talking to you right now. So if we have any. And speaking of listeners, thank you to you, the listener, for making it this far. If you enjoy our podcast, please leave us a review. It really helps out the show a lot. You can leave a review on iTunes or Facebook. And if you do, we'll give you a shout out here on the show. And if you don't like our podcast, just keep that shit to yourself.
And please join us on the Last Time On Listener Lounge. Join us over there. The password is Wahapa.
And that's on Facebook.
Yep. And you can also join us on the What Happened Here Productions Discord. Message us there. We will get you the link. And you can join us. Lots of really fun discussions. And we have been apologizing for everything we've said about Chicago. We will see you next time on Last Time On.